doing what you can to help someone in need doesn't always mean going out of your way.
Sometimes it means going where you always go.
Tim Hortons.
That's right. Head to Tim Hortons on July 21st for Camp Day, where 100% of proceeds from all hot and iced coffee purchases go to Tim Hortons Foundation Camps, where youth from disadvantaged circumstances learn important skills like leadership, resilience, and responsibility. So buy a coffee at Tim Hortons on July 21st and help kids change their stories for the better.
Thanks.
At participating restaurants.
Welcome to the Darren Smith Show.
This is the big one, boys. This is the one that brings us back. Soon, AM radio will reign king once more.
Ooh, yeah. Now, here's Darren.
We love you. We love you forever and ever.
On Extra 1360.
Man, what a show it's been already. Hour number 3, it's Extra 1360. We've broken down baseball, football, television ratings, talked a little bit about the Malice in the Palace, a Netflix film. You want to call it a documentary, I'm not going to quibble about it, but whatever. We've had a lot. Talked to Kevin Acey earlier today. Phil Nevin joined us from Field of Dreams, where the Yankees and White Sox are playing. Actually from Iowa. From Iowa. They're playing a baseball game there. That might be news to some of you, I'm guessing. Right now, though, we turn our attention to Landon Donovan. San Diego Loyal is back in action upcoming this Saturday night. They will be taking on Tacoma. This will be the first time that we ever see Tacoma in San Diego. Loyola has not fared well against Tacoma thus far this year. 2 away games, 2 losses. Hopefully the tables turn upcoming this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. The manager of San Diego Loyal is a legend. He's Landon Donovan. He's got a statue coming up there at StubHub Center or Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. He joins us on Extra 1360. Good afternoon, Landon.
Darren, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Why was Marty so upset?
She's upset because baseball is playing a game in a cornfield tonight, and there's a couple of NFL preseason games. Yeah, there's a couple of NFL preseason games, and she's incredibly conflicted.
Wait. Is it like Field of Dreams?
Yeah, they're playing in that field. Have you ever been there?
No way. How did I? It's my favorite movie. How did I not know that?
Well, I'm guessing you represent a lot of people, Landon. I got to be honest. I woke up today and sort of said the same thing. Oh, really? That's today?
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that kind of cool? But there's also NFL preseason games, so Marty feels like this is a terrible conflict in her life, and she doesn't understand why it's all been scheduled for the same day.
Well, she's not going to watch NFL preseason games.
Oh, Landon, how could you go there? Do you not know Marty?
Well, I guess, but why would it's preseason? Who cares?
Oh, man. Well, listen, Landon, you're always welcome on this show. I'm just going to say, I always will welcome you on this show, but I 1,000% agree with you. I'm just telling you, Marty is shaking her head right now. Marty, do you want to defend this in any capacity, or?
It's about the quarterback competition, and that's why I'm interested, because like the first game that's going to be featured literally against this baseball game will be the Washington football team. I'm not really concerned with Tyler Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick, but with the Patriots, it's Mac Jones, who they drafted in the first round, and then it's Cam Newton, last year's starter, who is also playing tonight. So I'm interested in the quarterback competition. That to me I find interesting.
Oh, great. How about that, Landon?
Which you sorry you asked.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy it.
So we find you more inclined tonight to be watching baseball from a cornfield or watching one of these NFL preseason games?
Definitely the baseball game.
Definitely the baseball game, not CONCACAF Champions League. Anything happening in your sport?
Oh, there's a lot. It's hard for me to keep up with all the like Nations League and Champions League and CONCACAF League, and but yeah, I probably will watch. Actually, I have date night tonight, so let's be honest, I'm not going to watch any of it.
Oh, date night! Tell us about that. Where are you going? I mean, don't tell us. Well, unless you don't want to. I don't know.
How much you want to know?
I don't know. Do you go out for date night, or is date night at home and you find somebody to scoop up the kids?
Date night when you have kids is about getting as far away from the kids as possible. So date night is in Del Mar tonight at a sushi place called Shimbashi. It'll be really good.
All right. Well, good luck on that. Date night tonight for Landon Donovan. That sounds fantastic. Good luck. Landon, what's the least safe you've ever felt? I was talking a little bit about a documentary that I was watching called Malice at the Palace. Remember that, between the Pistons and the Pacers, like 17 years ago?
Yeah.
So you might, if you have some time, if you have an hour, I think it's worth your while. It's an interesting documentary. But, they were providing a lot of context into that moment and how unsafe it felt for the players. You've played internationally. You've played all over the world. Is there a time that just jumps in your mind where you felt like you were like it was this is unsafe?
So there's one when I actually was involved in a game and one when I wasn't. So when I was 18, I played in Germany, and we traveled for I think it was a Europa League game or a Champions League game to Athens, Greece, to play against AEK Athens. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time I had been exposed to the lunacy of some soccer clubs around the world. Mm-hmm. We sat, fortunately, in a suite, but on one full end. So if you picture Torero, where the locals are, that full end was fully caged in on four sides. And the people, the fans, the supporters were literally jumping on the fence and chanting and shaking basically the whole stadium with flares, etc., for 90 minutes. And it was, it rose to a level of like, this is not fandom. This scares me. And I had never seen that. So I was, walking out of the suite in the concourse, I was actually really scared.
That's inside of the stadium. So that's one you weren't playing.
So that's one. And then one playing, the most intimidating, I wouldn't say I necessarily felt scared, like for my life, although as a human being it wasn't comfortable, was playing at the old Saprissa Stadium in Costa Rica for World Cup qualifiers. So when we would get to the stadium and go into the stadium to get into the locker room, the entire stadium 2 hours before the game was filled. I mean, every seat, literally every single seat. And they were chanting and cheering, and their crazy supporters section was right over our locker room. So the whole locker room shook for the entire time we were, in there getting ready. So you don't necessarily feel like you're fearing for your life, but the intimidation factor is really high.
I see a lot of videos sometimes, whether it's Champions League in Europe and some of the stuff, CONCACAF qualifying, etc. You see a lot like outside of hotels, right, where teams are staying and there's this huge block party and they shoot off a bunch of fireworks and they get a DJ going all night. Clearly, the goal is to try to disrupt the sleep of the team. Sometimes they'll pull fire alarms, things like that. What about, I would imagine you probably have some experience with that in your playing days?
Oh, yeah. There are two worst ones. One was in Costa Rica, and outside of the hotel, this truck pulled up, and it had probably 8 to 10 massive speakers on it, and they just blasted music all night long. I mean, blasted, like where our hotel rooms were shaking, like from the bass, all night long. The other one was at the Olympics, actually, in 2000 in Sydney. We played against Chile in the third and fourth place game. And the night before, outside our hotel room, literally from 9 p.m. until 7 in the morning, there were a group of about 100 Chileans that were singing the same song, literally the same song, over and over for 9 hours.
I got to admit, I'm kind of impressed when fans do that sort of stuff. I've never been the player who's been impacted by that, but when you see some of these magnificent fireworks shows and see the DJs out there on the streets, I got to admit, I sort of appreciate that.
It's amazing. As a player, it was different because you're trying to do your job, and it obviously impacts that. But just looking at it in retrospect, it's incredible.
Would you like to see the locals do that to Tacoma? If they can get out there Friday night and find out where they're staying, do you want them to throw a party outside on the street and play music and shoot off fireworks?
No comment.
Okay. That says it all right there. Landon Donovan is joining us on Extra 1360. Landon, it occurred to us, last season, compressed season, 16 games. The schedule gets whittled down, obviously, because of COVID. This year, you just passed the halfway mark of the 2021 season. 7 wins, 3 draws, 7 losses. Sitting third in the standings in the Pacific Division. How would you sum up what you've seen thus far through the first half plus one game?
Mm-hmm.
Are you about where you thought you'd be? A little better, a little worse? What would you say about the first half of the 2021 season?
As someone once told me, the standings never lie. So everybody likes to say we should be this, we should be that, we could be this, but the standings are what they are. So we are exactly where we're meant to be, or where we deserve to be, I should say. Looking back, I would say there's a few things. One, for the most part, meaning minus, I believe, 2 games, I think we have performed pretty well in the other 15 and had 2 bad performances. Where we've let ourselves down as far as the standings go is in two places. One is finishing really good chances to score, and two is making some individual mistakes in key moments in games that have cost us points. So if we had scored 2 or 3 more goals even and eliminated 5 or 6 mistakes, and every team can say this, of course, we would have a lot more points in the standings. So the emphasis is on continuing to improve and get better at what we do, but then eliminating those moments and putting the ball in the back of the net a few more times, and that'll add up to more points.
Now you got me guessing. Which of the 2 performances, I'm going to see if I can get this right, the 2 performances that you thought were just clunkers out there, was one of them the most recent one?
Correct.
Was one of them the first one of the season?
Correct.
Okay. Wow, how about that? Got
Good
that right.
guess.
It's not bad. Yeah, I know that one this past weekend, that one surprised me a little bit. That one was sort of hard to explain. They score in the first minute, and then the entire match just seemed like it sort of, it just got ground down to a halt.
Yeah, it did, and it's just a reminder that a goal in the first minute counts as the same as a goal in the last minute, and, that can happen where they score within a minute and the game ends 1-0. So it didn't help us. I don't think it actually really impacted the game, to be honest. I just think we didn't play well. That's simple as that.
And how much of that is you? How much of that is them? I mean, that was the night where they just, it's foul after foul after foul. There was just no flow to that game whatsoever.
Well, ultimately, it's our job and ultimately my job to make sure the team can handle that and play through that. So they played very well. That was the best game I think the Monarchs have played all year. And we didn't play well. And ultimately that falls on me. So this week is really important. We need to respond well.
Yes, and this is also a game that's important when you look at the standings. Not that there's not a half a season left to go, as Landon Donovan joins us here on Extra 1360, but it's hard not to notice this is 3rd versus 4th, and this is also a club, for whatever reason, in Tacoma that you guys have struggled against thus far this season, seeing them twice with 2 losses. So I'm sure you're thinking here at home at Torero Stadium with that mindset, coming off that type of performance here, this adds up to a good Saturday.
I hope so. I hope the team responds well. I can live with a lot of things. One I cannot live with is lack of effort, and the other is lack of applying what we are trying to do. So if they do those 2 things, I can live with results, because soccer is unique in that, it's not a basketball game where you get 90 chances to score every night. You get a couple chances, and sometimes they go in and sometimes they don't. But the performance matters to me more than the result. So I just want to see a good reaction in the performance. And if we do that, we give ourselves a really good chance to win. It's
interesting, Landon, last couple of times, not to get too dragged down here into the tactics of it all, but the last 2 times at home at Torero Stadium, and certainly I can appreciate that I'm cherry picking to an extent here. But, I wonder, coaching is an interesting thing, as you're clearly finding out. How much of coaching is, okay, this is our plan, we feel really good about it. How much of it is adjusting? In other words, the last couple of times you've done a lot of things well, you've maintained possession, you've had a ton of passing, not a ton of shots though, not a ton of shots in the previous 2 just at home. Do you notice is something different on the opponent side? Is there something here that, you need to adjust? I wonder what how you view that over the last couple at home.
It's a very good question. I think the majority of your coaching gets done Sunday through Friday, and ultimately the players will play well or not, depending on a lot of factors, including how the coaches prepare them on the day. I think the misconception in sports often is what coaches do on game day is overemphasized. And especially in soccer, there's only so much you can do. You can make little adjustments. You can make, in our case now, 5 substitutions from player personnel standpoint. But other than that, players ultimately make the decisions and control what happens. So our job is to get them ready so they feel comfortable and confident to express themselves and play the way we want them to play. But ultimately, you have very little control. So you can make some adjustments, and sometimes that helps, but I think too often coaches take a lot of credit. You'll always hear the same comment from coaches. The first half was this, and then we made adjustments at halftime with the team, and then they were much better. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, you can take credit all you want, but you didn't have them ready to play in the first half. So I spend most of my energy Sunday through Friday, there's very little to be said or done on Saturday except for a few minor adjustments. And your work is shown on Saturday to see if it's been effective or not.
The substitution is the big coaching decision, right? Like, how much of that are you doing in real time? How much of that is according to plan? Just, again, generally speaking, I know every situation is probably different, but given that that's the most impact most of the time that coaches can make on any individual game, how much of that is, okay, well, we think this guy's going to go 6, and how much of it is, okay, something, we just need some new energy out there?
The only times that it's pre-planned are as if you have multiple games coming up in a short period of time where you want to manage minutes, or if someone's coming back from injury or just not fit yet. So you don't want to push someone who's been out for 6 weeks and try to make them play 90 minutes if their body's not ready for it. Other than that, it's what you see in the game. So what you're seeing and what you feel needs to be adjusted. And there are many times where you make substitutions and the players go in and score a few goals and everyone's talking about what a genius you are. And then there's many times where you make substitutions and things get worse, right? So I think we give too much credit in those moments to ultimately what is a player's game. It is so different than every other sport. In basketball, they're literally telling them what play to run every play. In baseball, obviously, there's so many signs and preparation. Soccer's different in that you have to make decisions and plays on the field as a player that nobody else can impact but you. And that's what makes it, I think, such a beautiful game.
Well, this is one of those stretches that you just talked about here. 3 games in 7 days, starting Saturday night against Tacoma, midweek against Vegas. I feel like we play Vegas every other week. And then the 21st next Saturday night against Orange County. So it'll be interesting to see the way it all operates. Hey, before we let you go, Landon, did you see that the U.S. men's national team is ranked in the top 10 in the FIFA rankings? I know everybody always craps on those things, but I think you'd rather be in the top 10 than not be in the top 10.
Yeah, as my old friend used to say about things like this, he'd say, that and $5 gets you a cup of coffee, and that's about it. So I don't put a lot of stock in that because what matters is what happens on the field.
All right. Well, we got a pair of tickets to give away to go see Loyal next Saturday night against Orange County, Landon. How should we do it?
It's a good question.
Be a radio producer for us.
Maybe you see who can piss Marty off the most.
Oh, well,
they get the tickets.
That's usually, that job is done by 2:00 every afternoon.
The first person at the studio to put a sign on Marty's car about what she should watch tonight gets 2 tickets.
I mean, here we can't be promoting vandalism, that kind of show. All right, we'll figure it out. Well, thank you, Landon.
Figure it out. Yeah, ask Jim. He's good.
All right, Jim, you got it all figured out. See you Saturday.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Landon Donovan, everybody, manager for San Diego Loyal, this Saturday night against Tacoma. I know what it is. Where's date night? If you know where date night is, 844-570-1360. Go put a sign on Landon's car. Since he's promoting vandalism for us on this show, go find Landon. Where's he having dinner? 844-570-1360. Call up. We've got a couple of pairs of tickets to give away. Not for this Saturday, but for next Saturday night against Orange County. 7:30, Torero Stadium. We got 3 home games coming up here in the span of a week. This Saturday, Tacoma. Wednesday night against Vegas. And then next Saturday against Orange County. So you want to go next Saturday night? 844-570-1360. Thank you to Landon Donovan. All right, got to get to our best bets of the day coming up here in our next segment. Some TV listings as well. We're watching MLB Network, and I will tell you, I've mostly been accepting of, playing a baseball game at a cornfield in the middle of August. I will say, I wasn't expecting like Bob Costas with some big essay from the porch of the house in Field of Dreams.
How are you not? That is the most obvious.
Wearing a pair of khaki pants.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? This is Bob Costas written all over it.
I mean, Bob is just holding court on the patio of the house from Field of Dreams wearing a pair of khaki pants, offering up an essay. Yeah. I mean, they're going to lay it on a little thick here. But again, I'm mostly okay with it, even if none of the players playing in this game could have watched this movie. It was funny when Phil Nevin joined us in the first hour of the show. He's like, yeah, a lot of them watched the movie this morning.
Just so they can understand why they had to go to a cornfield for a 1-game series.
Yeah, Landon's favorite movie. How about that?
They're flying in, then day out, right?
Yeah, they flew in this morning.
Yeah, whoever loses is going to be very, very grumpy.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Phil has great perspective about, it's one of the coolest things I've done. I just picture Phil as a player like,
This sucks. What am I doing here?
Are we going to Iowa? All right, college? What's your favorite baseball movie? Got
Major
one?
League. In a heartbeat. That's...
In a heartbeat?
Oh, so great.
Yeah, it's up there. Where's Field of Dreams for you?
It's in the mix.
Is it on the Mount Rushmore of baseball movies?
Dude, don't even... We don't do no Mount Rushmores.
We were joking about every day doing an ironical Mount Rushmore segment on the
We
show.
should do like the... We should
just
do
to
a
prove that we're out of ideas.
All right, in honor of Kirk Morrison, we should do like a Mount Rushmore of PB bars that have now closed. That don't exist anymore. Moondoggies, man.
Moondoggies is number one.
That was a spot. That was.
Where did I've always thought that League of Their Own was the best. No?
Yeah.
You're just not into women playing sports?
Oh, what are you doing? Why would you do this to me? See, based on Landon's criteria, you would have won the tickets, but you're working that night. So, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well,
Come on.
I love League of Their Own. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's great. It is a great movie. I'm just you asked me a question. My favorite's Major League. That's all.
That's good. It's a good choice. It's a good choice. You know what one I never liked?
Something involving a kid, probably.
Well, yes, there is that. The one where they're all like the Sandlot. But it's okay. I don't feel like I'm the right demographic for that. You have to be a different... I bet you when Jim gets off the phone, he's going to tell you he loves the Sandlot.
That was meant for when you were actually a kid.
Yeah. And then people grow up and it becomes part of the fabric of their lives. Right. And all that sort of stuff. But you know what one I like? I just don't like it at all. And I'm not trying to argue with anybody here. I'm just telling you, it just does nothing for me as The Natural.
Oh, really?
Nothing. Oh, it's so stupid. I mean, of course he hits it up into the lights and everything bursts up in the fire. I mean, it's just...
I heard that song at Petco Park every single day during batting practice.
Ever, nothing, ever for me at all.
Not a feel-good movie for you, huh?
No. I don't even know that I've ever watched it from start to finish.
What's the one with John Goodman? Oh, that was The Babe, right?
Yeah. That's another clunker.
Okay.
That stinks.
All right.
And then there's a bunch of ones where there's children as managers and pitchers. And, those are sort of...
Like Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Right. And then there's Bad News Bears, which is classic.
Yeah.
Which is very good. No?
No, I haven't seen that.
All right. Yeah, but I don't know. Everybody's always like, The Natural. Like, The Natural, it stinks. All right, we'll be back with some TV listings and best bets coming up next.
Steve Harvey here, coming up on the Extra Morning Show. We get ready for a busy sports weekend, including the Padres series on the road against the Arizona Diamondbacks. How important is the health to Fernando Tatis Jr. to the balance of this season? We'll tell you, starting at 6 on Extra 1360.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival, it's back September 17th and 18th from T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. World will be listening on iHeartRadio. You could be there. 3 chances each weekday for you to win a trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending cash. Keep listening for your next chance to win. Jim, did you give away the $30 gift card to Sombrero Mex?
I did.
So these late texters, they are SOL?
They are.
619 number. I thought for sure I had the gift card in the bag. Did it go to Joe and you and Bullpen Stew? Who did it go to?
I don't have it up in front of me, but his name, I forget the name. Sorry.
Wow.
What was the context? What was the content of the text? You don't have to read it verbatim.
There's something about Marty.
What?
Sorry.
858. Oh my gosh, Marty. Let's get on with this Landon Donovan interview. 619 number. I love that Marty got mad at Darren for slamming the desk. It wasn't just me, by the way. Now she knows how annoying it is when she does it or types on her computer.
I've never done that.
858. That text about NFL preseason games was not for me, and you may know who I am. I do know who you are.
Who is it?
Our longtime listener, Howard.
Oh, really?
Who I saw recently.
Can I tell you
said
this?
That he texted the show.
He's great. I miss Howard when we did Monday Night Football at On the Border.
Did that On the Border make it?
No.
I know. I drive past it from time to time.
I know. A lot of things didn't make it. That's the one that stuck me. It never opened, not for delivery or outdoor. And I was like, oh.
Those margaritas.
We would stay there often, a lot longer than we planned.
Well,
I always saw Howard.
I mean, when you have chips and salsa,
yes.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, endless.
951 number. Larry Joe here.
Hi, hey, Larry Joe.
What's up, Larry?
What's up, Larry?
Here's my attempt at a Padre version of Spawn and Sane and Pray for Rain. You, Joe, a 5-inning Blake, and pray for an offensive outburst to end with Jake.
Okay. Yeah.
Creative.
5 is good. 5 is a win for Blake Snell. I know he went, 7 his last outing against Arizona.
Would you sign up?
Fine.
He's probably got about, 8, 9 starts left on the season? Would you sign up 5 innings every start for the remainder of the season?
In a heartbeat.
No questions asked.
Without question. Yeah. Might even give him MVP votes if he can do that.
Is Cy Young still up for grabs?
Yep, let's go.
All right. Best bets of the day. They're brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel.
Best Bets, brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel, San Diego's favorite.
Can't wait to hear Marty's today.
Oh, no, mine's a lock. I'm going to surprise you today. It's not going to be about who's first team offense for the Patriots, Cam Newton or Mac Jones. Has nothing to do with that.
Who is starting out of curiosity?
I would think Cam Newton.
So you don't know?
I don't know, but it has to be Cam Newton.
Has to be?
Yeah, has to be. I think Belichick has a lot of respect for him. You're not going to make him go with your second team offense.
Okay.
You give Cam the nod. Oh, is it my turn for the best bet? Okay. Okay. My best bet is that you should go to ca.gov and you should download the digital vaccination card if you've been vaccinated, and this is why. San Francisco in October is going to require proof of vaccination to enter restaurants, bars, indoor areas, gyms. AEG is now going to require proof of vaccination starting October 1st. I think it's just going to be a matter of time before that becomes more common anywhere in California, including San Diego. So if you've been vaccinated, you might want to go ahead and download that digital code, save it to your phone.
I also think that they can do a better job spreading the word on these QR codes. And I say that, and I'm not knocking. I think most people probably are unaware that this exists.
Mm-hmm. Like the Field of Dreams game.
Right. Because somebody asked me for proof of vaccination the other day. I'll leave out the details because I know you get a bunch of weirdos out there. I don't want anybody showing up and protesting at this place. But I said, oh, yeah, sure, here you go. And I showed the QR code, and the person was like, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, really?
I really have no clue what that is.
Huh? Okay.
And I'm guessing, like I said, the majority of people probably have no clue that this is an available service. So they said, do you have a picture of your actual vaccination cards, those vaccine cards?
Do both.
I said, yeah, I have those too. And here's another little pro tip for you, those of you with iPhones. Since so many of you, like, for instance, Jim, how many pictures do you have on your phone, top of your head? I have about 4,000.
You have 4,000? I have, I think, 3.
3?
3,000? 3,000,
Oh.
yeah.
Favorite the picture. You put the little heart.
What?
That way you don't have to go scrolling through in a pinch and hold up the line if we get to that point. You can favorite your pictures.
You can?
Yes.
I can. Or you can, in my Android, you can create a separate album, create a folder. Like you can create.
My life just changed.
That way you don't have to fumble around with it. Yeah. So if you click on any of the pictures, Jim, on your iPhone.
Okay.
See, there's a couple of things at the bottom. There's the one where you can text something. Then there's that heart in the middle.
The for you?
Huh?
I don't know.
Do you see like 3 icons at the bottom? One is if you want to text it. Then there's that heart. If you click that heart, then it goes into your favorites. That way you can save a lot of time. You don't have to go scrolling through a bunch of like weird pictures of AJ Preller that you have on your phone.
I do have folders already made, and one of the folders is a Preller folder, so.
Of course you do.
Yes.
I wish I had that. I wish I had thought about that as well.
I have a Tatis folder. I have a memes folder. I'm locked and loaded.
Good for you. Well, again, just some friendly advice out there. If you have an iPhone, you're like, wait, because the other day, I thought for sure that this would be satisfactory walking into where it was that I was walking into. I said, no, actually, I just need a picture of your cards themselves. So I did have to go scrolling. And if there had been people behind me, they probably would have gotten ticked off.
Yeah.
Jim?
My best bet is that Hard Knocks is going to be the most boring Hard Knocks of all time this year. If the indication is anything after the first episode, Man, it's just going to be a snooze fest.
Really, that bad?
The only thing interesting was the Dak injury, but they're not going to say anything because, the Cowboys have not rights over what they want to show on Hard Knocks, but they can.
Oh, they do.
They can say
They
what
control
goes
that.
on the show and what does not go on the show.
Absolutely. They're not putting it. They're going to put out what they want to put out.
Exactly. So the first episode, usually is supposed to be this epic thing and make you want to watch the rest of the season. It was nothing. And personally, I thought it was horrible.
Well, maybe it'll get better in the second.
Maybe.
I also feel like there's a lot of been there, done that with this program overall.
Yeah, the shtick it's up.
And the players sort of know that this is reality television.
Yeah.
Is Ezekiel Elliott really walking around the compound?
No.
Saying the things out loud that he's saying to nobody in particular.
No.
I mean, you're talking to the camera and everybody knows that. My best bet of the day is that I'm much more inclined to watch the Field of Dreams game on Fox 5 coming up at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon than either one of the NFL preseason games. But then again, you already knew that. I probably won't watch it.
You're not watching either of them.
Probably not. Actually, I got to record a podcast at 4:30.
Yeah, there's no chance.
I'll tune into Mac Jones. I want to see how he does just because,
You want to make sure there's no regret that
Right.
no regret the 49ers I can't believe they missed on this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you want to tune in and hope he fails terribly.
Yes.
You are rooting for no reason. Mac Jones became somebody who millions of people in this country just hated for no reason.
I know. He became like the next.
I felt bad for him.
Like
I'm
the
rooting
next
for the guy.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
In a way.
What did he do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. Best bets of the day. You want a best bet? Go to Valley View Casino and Hotel. Join the Players Club. $100, free offers, no strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see? Let's give our bonus best bet today. Fernando Tatis Jr. If he's activated off the injured list, where's he playing?
Shortstop.
Shortstop.
Yeah.
Now, is that grass there in Arizona?
It's like a turf grass.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in the outfield.
And it's a weird place that he's never played before. He's practiced specifically.
It'd be Petco Park.
But you're gonna have to deal with that. I mean, you got to play your first game there sometime. But I would just tell you,
They play in Arizona again?
Yes. I think they have one more trip after this.
Well, then put him back at shortstop.
I also give you another bone. Here's a third best bet. The more I think about it, and I'm very stubborn on this. I mean, I'm hanging on by a thread here on my Giants third place thing. But
You're still
Dodgers lost today.
Right.
I'm not mathematically eliminated. The more I look at it, the more I think the most important series that the Padres have left, those 3 games against the Atlanta Braves at Petco Park in the middle of September.
3.5.
3 and
2 innings.
Third, yeah.
Right.
That could be 4 wins right there. Or
those are double whammy games in the
Yeah.
wild card, like those. And Atlanta's, they don't have the issues. They don't have Acuna, so everybody wrote him off. Still got an MVP, still got some pitching.
They made some trades for the deadline. They added pitching, right?
Didn't they also add Jock Peterson?
Oh, they did.
Oh, God, can't you just see that too?
That guy, he's killed the Padres more than once.
John and Rich, when we come back on Extra.
Warning. Roger, ignition engaged. The countdown is on.
3, 2, 1.
It's time for The Fusion.
All right, we've got a little bit of a split broadcast coming up here. This should be
Split
fun
fusion.
over the next couple of hours. Split fusion. Got John Schaefer in studio. A pleasure to see you.
Great to see you, Darren. What's going on, man?
Just hanging in there on a Thursday. Excited for some baseball coming to you from a cornfield.
I know, and this is like minutes away, isn't it? When does this start?
4:30.
Oh, 4:30. Okay, hours
4:30.
away.
What time? What is it? 4
o'clock.
4:30. 4:30. All right. And then live from Los Angeles, it's Rich Ornberger.
He's quieter in LA.
I guess not.
I agree with Rich.
I can't do that again.
Do you agree with Rich on that?
I think it's an excellent point.
It's like his best point he's made this week.
I don't know. I think it's all downhill from here. So he'll be monitoring, like Marty, he'll be monitoring a couple of NFL preseason games.
Absolutely, yeah. What do you think of this?
In actuality, most people are just going to be sitting around watching Padres and Diamondbacks anyway.
True. What do you think of this Dyersville setup?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it looks cool on TV.
I think if you're the kind of person who likes baseball and who likes that movie, and you watch a lot of MLB Network, and you might watch this for a couple of innings. I want to watch somebody hit one into a cornfield. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing.
That'd be really cool.
But listen, it's whatever.
Are the dimensions like normal dimensions?
Well, so this is interesting. I didn't know this either. So there's the Field of Dreams field, which is there, and it's in its original capacity, which is the one that they filmed. But they also built one that was more major league. So there's actually a second field where they're playing the Yankees and the White Sox today.
Okay.
So they're playing on that one, but they're doing all the pictures and stuff from the original field, and Bob Costas is out there reciting poetry and stuff.
So how did so Yankees, White Sox? What about like Padres?
Well, that's what we were wondering.
Yeah,
if the Padres were playing
Mariners.
in this game, would you go? Like, would you be interested? Would we be broadcasting from the porch?
Pretty cool.
At the Field of Dreams house? Like, maybe. I mean, if they would let us. I don't know that they'd let us.
What's interesting is my buddy calls games for the White Sox, Jason Benetti, but he recently put on social media he had tested positive for COVID and was off some of the White Sox broadcasts. This just happened literally maybe 3 days ago, maybe 4. And he said he'd be off for an undetermined amount of time. It was a breakthrough case, is what the release said. So I assume he's not there. That sucks. It's like a once-in-a-100-year game.
Right.
And I saw there were radio booths, like Len Casper is there, I think calling the game on the radio for the White Sox. And like, oh, man, to miss this game?
Did Sterling make the trip?
You got to think he's there, right? It is high. It is deep. It is in
He's
the
going to have
corn.
something, pardon the pun, corny
for
this broadcast.
Very corny. Very corny. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Hey, listen, it breaks the monotony if you're a baseball fan on a run-of-the-mill Thursday.
Exactly. And then, back to the point about the Padres and the Diamondbacks, it's like from the Padres' perspective, it's like, it's getting to be the nitty-gritty. It's like, got to take care of business. Yeah, the Reds have lost some games here, but I don't think it's not going to be easy here down the stretch. Like, I remember in March, AJ Preller was talking about the fact that, like, we got to make decisions based on what's going to happen in October. Still got to get to October. They still have some work to do here down the stretch.
So I've been having this conversation, and I'm very likely to be wrong. But to me, I'm a little, if not equally, maybe even a little bit more concerned about Atlanta.
Yeah, because Atlanta's right there. They're like a game behind Cincinnati.
A game behind, plus they come here.
Right, so they can make up those games in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Head
plus,
to head.
I mean, if I'm picking who's a better team, not just based on the previous couple of nice results, sort of like Atlanta, the way they're constructed a little bit more.
Well, I think it's a really good point, and I think the best point...
Been there, done that, MVP on the team.
Yeah, and the best point is the one you made, which is you can make up the games and you have the head-to-head opportunity. Now, the Padres have a slight advantage in that they lead that random game 5-4. I forget why that game was halted. Rain. It was a 5-4 game in the 7th inning, so they're going to take that 5-4 lead with them, but then there's 3 more games. You're right. If the Braves win 3 out of 4 from the Padres, they're going to become a big concern in the wild card race.
And here's the other thing about the Braves. You see a lot of games against the Nationals, the Marlins, 3 against the Orioles.
Yep.
I know the Reds get the Pirates.
Same thing, yeah.
But you get a lot of Marlins, Nationals, Baltimore.
This is tricky a little bit.
It's a little tricky.
Isn't it? Like, the Padres are going to have to play well. Like, I don't know if you can just go 22-24 from here on out and get in. Like, you're going to have to win some series and play good baseball, maybe against the Giants and the Dodgers too. So they got work to do.
We got some work to do, John.
Yeah.
Guys, got a wrap-up show tonight?
We do. What do you think the lead's going to be? What's your headline of the wrap-up show?
Whether or not Fernando Tatis Jr. is activated. Do
Yeah.
we have a lineup? Or are we going to play that game?
Come
We're
on,
not going to
Jim.
get one until about 6.
Get us a lineup, man.
There's no lineup yet.
Okay.
I feel it's going to be one of those days where Tingler's going to speak in 5 minutes here. I think in 5 minutes.
Is he?
Isn't he? I don't have the schedule in front of me.
And is he going to say, I haven't checked with the trainers yet. We're not sure on Tatis.
We're going to
I
wait
haven't
until the
seen
last
it. I haven't
minute. I
seen
got to
him
go
yet.
talk to the doctor.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him yet. Is he here? Is he in Phoenix? I'm not sure.
3:15.
3:15.
Okay.
So will we get a
20
lineup
minutes.
by 3:15, or will Tingler tell everybody?
I have to talk to some people first before the lineup gets
Well, we
out.
got to see how he comes through with the last drills. And,
A couple things to
of
work
tests.
on.
Yeah.
If he is activated, what do you think his position is tonight?
Shortstop.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
I know there are many convinced in that organization that he is ready to go play the outfield tonight. But I walked out of Petco Park the other day not confident. Not 100%. I thought that it's more likely than not that he will. But that there's still there's some wiggle room there for him not to.
So when you say it's more likely than not that he will play some outfield at some point, okay, I got you. Yeah, I tend to think he'll play some, but I still feel like shortstop is going to be the initial go-to, and then maybe they'll work him into the outfield if necessary.
It's also not, I don't think anybody, this has never been described as a position change.
Mm-hmm.
Just him playing some outfield this year.
Interesting. It's kind of like a grand experiment. I saw MLB.com had a really long article on it. Like, it's basically without precedent. What they're if it happens and he just moves there right now for 30 or 40 games and having no seasoning in the minor leagues or anywhere else professionally, it would be somewhat without precedent, which makes it even more unbelievable if he can pull it off.
Well, and none of us would be surprised.
No, none of us would.
All right, John and Rich, maybe.
Yeah, Rich, great. I thought Rich was excellent. I agree.
I mean, I'll stick around if you.
No,
unless you want to just talk to Jim.
No, I talked to Jim enough. Jim bailed on me last night. 7-0 game. I said either Jim can do it with Fletch or I can do it. We were going to work I get one Wednesday off, he gets one Wednesday off. And he's like, I'm going to do this game. Then it's 7-0. I'm like, yo, what are you going to talk about? He's like, dude, I don't want to do this wrap up. I'm like, I'll switch with you. He's like, okay.
I totally bailed. I'm not even going to hide it. Yeah.
But I still thought it was interesting. The situation is interesting. The grand scheme there. And then Tatis and his health and where is he going to play? There was a lot to talk about. And Jim went to I don't know. What'd you do?
A bunch of nothing.
Jim went home.
That's what Jim does, man. Jim rocks a pair of jorts and does a bunch of nothing.
Pretty much.
All right.
The McDonald's is food you buckle in with your seatbelt deal. And there's no reason not to take that extra precaution. Because a meal from McDonald's is not just a meal. It's often your most precious cargo. Enjoy a tasty double cheeseburger or a 6-piece chicken McNuggets for $2 each. Add any size soft drink like an ice-cold Dr. Pepper for just $1 more. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.